Hey, what's up, y'all? Y'all good? I hope so. Okay, let's get into episode 3 of A Flavor over there on Fox Soul. I'm enjoying it so far. If you're watching it and you're enjoying it, get down in the comments and let me know, okay? So let's get into this recap. So the episode opens with Shima being honored by the city of Atlanta for her endeavors in the restaurant industry. Miss Keisha and Tarryn showed up to support her and they let her know that they're proud of her. Ebony was having her annual HBCU scholarship event. She said in about 10 minutes they gave away $20,000 in scholarships. And Tarryn stopped by to support her at that event. And she felt like it's such a special event, and even more special because Tarryn said she went to Tougaloo. Then they went outside to catch up. Tarryn talked about the opening of her restaurant and how there was a blogger there who gave her bad reviews because of the wait time. Then they get into the conversation about Tarryn being engaged, and she was like, hold up, pipe down, we are no longer engaged. And Ebony said, well, my situation was very similar. She said that, but they outgrew each other. Their time with each other is just like, okay, yeah, this not working because Ebony wants to be married and it just wasn't happening, and there's no need to keep holding on to something that isn't working. Then they get back on the subject of the festival, and they're still trying to get everybody on board, but when Ebony mentions Bobbie, baby, Tarryn gave a mean eye roll, honey. And I was with Ebony like, girl, why you roll your eyes like that? She said her and Bobbie are not seeing it for each other because Bobbie is a wolf in sheep's clothing. She said Bobbie closed the doors on the Edgewood location because according to Bobbie, that location wasn't bringing in any money. Tarryn feels like it was all a lie. She said business was slow, but not slow enough to close the doors. So she ain't effing with her, and she's suing Bobbie. So Bobbie and Shima meet up because their daughters have become friends. The moms came because Shima says she doesn't let her daughter take Uber. But Bobbie was like, well, she lets her daughter take Uber Teen all the time. Bobbie said, you know how teenagers like to start getting their own independence. And Shima said, well, Bella's independence is going to be a bit delayed. But she's happy to see that she's becoming more social, being that she came from a private school. They start talking about school, and Shima says that the coach has really been trying to get Bella to join the basketball team because she's good at it. Bobbie's daughter, Nadia, she says she's not trying to do any extracurricular activities because she's trying to lock in on her grades because she wants a car. And Bella wants a car too, baby. Bella wants a G-Wagon. Her mama's like, girl, you are not getting a G-Wagon. Nadia says, I don't want a G-Wagon. I just want a car. Bobbie says you can have a car as long as you work for it because Nadia works at her mom's daycare. Bobbie says in this economy you gotta diversify. Shima has a place in Miami and she purchased a yacht. She's looking into starting a charter business. Shima says she's done with the restaurant business after she finishes the 2 locations that she has coming. Bella says she can't stop. She needs to keep going. So Shima wants to know if Bella is ready to take over the restaurant business, and she says she can. Nadia, on the other hand, she wants to take over the daycare business. She said her mom can keep the restaurants, baby. The girls, they go on about their business, do their own thing. And Shima brings up a reel Bobbie made on social media. But she didn't want to bring it up, especially after she brought up the felony situation. So Bobbie says she's going to invite everybody over to her house so that she can explain what happened. That way she doesn't have to repeat it over and over. Then Cammy meets up with a chef to help her put together a special surprise for her mom. So her and her mom meet up because Cammy wanted to talk with her mom about school and about the store. Cammy, she no longer wants to go to school. She wants to work at the store. And her feelings started to change after her mom got sick. And Andrea said she supports Cammy's decision. So she questioned Cammy on what she felt was involved when it comes to running the business. And I like how she lets Cammy express herself, the way she tries to gauge her understanding in a gentle way, all the while providing guidance. It's just so beautiful. Shima and Bella are on their way home and she gets a call, and it was because she doesn't have a host at one of her restaurants for Sunday, and Bella said pay her a couple of extra dollars and she'll do it. Then she tells Bella that she is getting out of hand with her spending, and with the economy getting out of hand also, she doesn't want to wait for anything bad to hit them. So she's ready to liquidate and free up her money, especially since she has an opportunity coming up that is better than what she has going on in Miami. Shima says Bella has her own job now and she's no longer her personal bank. So she's giving her a credit card with $1,000 limit on it. That's $1,000 a month. That's her limit. And she knows that her child can spend $1,000 in a week. But she's trying to teach her how to manage her money, how to be responsible. She told her not to ask anybody for money. Don't ask your grandma, don't ask your grandpa, don't ask anybody. When you spend it, you pay on it. I'm trying to teach you something good. And I can't wait to see how this goes because Bella seems to be very spoiled. And like most teenagers, they don't take anything seriously. They think money and family will always be there. So this should be interesting. So now we're at Bobbie's house with everybody but Tarryn. She said her and Tarryn started in the mortgage business, and since business was going so well, she opened her own mortgage business, and then Tarryn decided to do the same. But in 2008, when the market crashed, they lost everything. She said Tarryn brought a mortgage fraud idea to her and she went with it. So they used the fraud money to open up their first restaurant location. The ladies wanted to know what she meant by mortgage fraud. Like, you got to be more detailed. Bobbie says, well, you get money from the mortgage company by falsifying documents. But the contractor that they were working with took all the money that they got from the mortgage fraud. And since they were in so much debt, they couldn't make the payments. And then the feds started following them. She said that Tarryn went to talk to the feds in Chicago, even though they were supposed to stick together. And when she found out about it, she asked Tarryn, what did she say? And Tarryn was like, that was 5 years ago. She didn't remember. Bobbie said the next thing she knew, she was indicted. She felt like Tarryn wanted to free herself. She said nobody contacted Tarryn. She went on her own, which is the same thing Bobbie said wouldn't happen because they were supposed to stick together. And once she got a chance to read the transcripts from Tarryn's meeting with the feds, she said everything Tarryn said was Bobbie told me to do it. Bobbie says the reason she did not go to jail is because they were able to tell the inconsistencies in Tarryn's story, and Bobbie went ahead and admitted her part in the whole thing. So all she had to do was pay some money, and she ended up being put on probation. And when she got back from Chicago, she confronted Tarryn, but all she did was lie. And since then, they never talked about it again. Miss Keisha said if anybody makes her get one felony, she gonna get another one. Andrea wanted to know, how do you continue to work with somebody who threw you under the bus, supposedly? Ebony says, so basically, you are working with a stranger. And Bobbie says, yeah. Bobbie said the reason her and Tarryn even got into business together is because when they waited tables together, she was a really hard worker. And she said that she just had to forgive Tarryn for herself. I just got to do it for me, baby. But Tarryn just keeps doing stuff, according to Bobbie. So she tells them about a situation where there was something going on with the alcohol. So she said she was going to check the cameras to see what happened to the missing cases, and Tarryn said she would help her look through the footage, but she didn't. After looking through the footage for 2 days, she asked Tarryn about it, and she was like, oh, one of my friends was having a party and I just donated, some cases to his event. So Ebony wanted to know if they sponsored the party, because if that was the case, then it shouldn't be that big a deal. Bobbie says, well, that's how Tarryn tried to make it seem. So Ebony was like, do you think she saw it as we're business partners? We both invested in the business. So maybe she saw it as it's mine just as much as it's hers. And Bobbie was like, if that's the case, then you still could have had a conversation with me about it. Ebony wants to know if Tarryn's story is going to match Bobbie's story. And Miss Keisha says it's not going to match. And they were like, do you know something that we don't know? And she was like, keep filling up my glass and you never know what might come out my mouth. Bobbie said that her and Tarryn were bumping heads so bad on Edgewood, they just weren't working out, to the point they didn't have enough money to pay the rent. And according to Bobbie, they received proceedings from the landlord to vacate the premises. Y'all got to get up out of here. Shima said if that happened to her, there wouldn't be any working together. They would have been sitting down talking about how to divide everything. Bobbie says all of it has been bittersweet, but she's happy to be away from Tarryn because it's been like living in hell dealing with Tarryn. And that was the end of the episode. Y'all get down in the comments. Let me know what you think. Episode 4 comes on Thursday. And then I'll be back for that one. And I'll talk to y'all later.